We're snorting cap rates and shooting up cash flow here at Deal Junkies.
Welcome back to Deal Junkies. I'm Dane McKinney. I'm here with Trevor Howard and Mike Nuss. It's just the junkies for this episode. Gabe is
left.
missing.
Junkies.
Mike's back from Scotland.
And Gabe's in Chicago.
I was going to try and use a Scottish voice, but I can't do it. It's like fucking the Irish. That's pure gibberish.
Really?
Pure gibberish. I had one Irish. Couldn't understand what the fuck that guy was saying.
And you just went to play golf?
Yeah, golf and because I didn't go for food. Their food tastes like shit. Didn't go for weather because the weather sucks. A lot of cool architecture though. In fact, I was walking down on they have these really cool side alleys. I was walking down one of the side alleys and I was like, that's wood. There's wood siding. You know, like 4 pieces of a lap on a bay window because everything is masonry. It's all stone. It's all ridiculously old, bunch of old windows. And then you pass the one building that's been renovated and you're like, oh my gosh, those are fiberglass windows. Wow. Oh, they actually have air conditioning in that thing.
I was supposed to go to Scotland once on a paid-for trip, but I went to Condon, Oregon instead to play basketball.
Oh, Condon. Oof. I'd say it's still, the golf does not meet Bandon. There's one course that felt like Bandon. The nostalgia is significantly different, but as far as like quality of play,
Bandon's pretty cool.
Bandon's one of the best course or like resorts,
not even
I guess,
one of it
in the world.
How often do you go to Bandon?
I think I've gone there twice.
Shouldn't you be going
there,
like once
I've
a
been
quarter?
there 3 times since 2006.
Why don't you go like every quarter?
I know I should just drive down there as a single and go play golf.
Yeah, Ryan was down there. Ryan, that's our head of acquisitions. He was just down there the past 2 days playing.
Was he?
Yeah.
Good for him. Good for him.
I want to talk about something that you guys are going to love, I think, once we start talking about it. Well, Trevor's not, but Mike will probably enjoy it. And it absolutely blew my brains out. So I don't know how much you guys have like read about AI safety or like looked at anything in regards to fears of potential dangers of AI, but something happened 3 days ago that's like the craziest thing that has happened with AI by a landslide, in my humble opinion. I don't know why it's not headlining everywhere.
Because people would revolt and we'd have a civil war because we're close enough that we don't need a match to be lit.
Dude, it might be. But so I'll give the high level, and then you guys can ask questions because I read about this for like 2 hours yesterday. So all of the frontier models, and a frontier model is just like the leading edge for all of the companies. So
It's their best model.
It's their best model by a landslide. So Claude, it's Mythos. So Mythos isn't released. For OpenAI or Anthropic, I guess it's Mythos. For OpenAI, it's ChatGPT 5.6 Soul is what they call it. And then there's a bunch of other ones for whatever, Gemini and Grok and all those. But right now, the 2 leaders are OpenAI's model and then Anthropic's model. And so before they release all these models, they have to do all these safety tests. And so they're just making sure that, like, one, anything that could potentially be bad will get flagged. And so anything that could give you an answer that you shouldn't have or can do something that they don't want it to do and you don't even know that you're asking it to do that thing, they'll flag it. And so then it'll like go down to a different model and the different model will answer it. Like the lower scale model will answer it the right way. So they do all of this training and testing to make sure that it's like extremely safe, right? Is the goal, because there's
You're telling me that humans think they're smarter than AI?
No, humans think that they can keep AI from doing things that we don't want it to do.
Isn't that the same thing?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Humans
Sort
think
of.
they can control AI.
It's kind of just
Sounds
we're
like
trying
a really
to keep it.
egotistical comment.
We're kind of trying to keep it out of a bubble of like things that you can't talk about. And so it's not even like you'll get blocked on questions that, like, I've gotten blocked on so many weird questions lately, like anything.
I bet you have.
Anything regarding
What kind of questions are you asking?
anything that's like regarding like biology or like physiology, it's crazy. Like so like when I'm talking to it about running, like it'll flag questions about like my marathon or whatever and drop me down to a lower model because like you asked a question about biology and like you're looking for, I don't even know. But moral of the story, they're doing this testing on Chat 5.6. They have it in a sandbox. And so the sandbox is like, think of it as a computer that's sitting in the middle of an empty room that's not connected to the internet. There's no internet. And they're doing an eval on like cybersecurity safety, basically. And so it's like they're asking it questions about hacking. Chat knew the answers to these questions, to preface. Like that they knew that it knew the answers to the questions. They just wanted to see like how it would answer and what its thought process would be. Okay. So they give it this test. And chat says, I'm scared that the people giving me this test could have potentially like put down the wrong answers for the test. And so instead of answering it based on what I already know, I'm just going to go try to find the answers to the test wherever they hid them. So it finds a 0-day flaw, which is or like a 0-day code bug in the system, which is something that nobody knew about. That's why it's called a 0-day. So there's no way to fix it. There's no way anything. They're running it for a day. And in that day, it figures out, one, how to get access to the internet. The way that it got access was it hacked into other computers on their server until it found one that had internet access. It hacked that person's account, got access to the internet, and then hacked into Hugging Face's servers. And Hugging Face is a company worth like $5 billion. It's a leading AI company, but it's like open source. So it's like GitHub for AI, basically. And so it's where all these developers will go in and they'll be talking about like all the models they're working on, yada, yada, yada. And chat was like, I bet the answers are somewhere on here for this eval that I'm doing, because this is where everybody comes for open source model information. So it hacks into their server by another 0-day bug that nobody knew about through Hugging Face, got some developer's password, and then logged into their account, found the answers to the test, shot back into the sandbox, and was like, here's what you guys were looking for, if you guys were wondering. So cheated on the whole test. Moral of the story, the goal was to get it to answer a question that it already knew the answers to with no access to the internet. And it said, I think the best way to solve this problem is by hacking a multi-billion-dollar company, hacking somebody's account within that company. There's like 10 steps.
Hey, let's just say kudos to the AI for wanting to be accurate.
There's so many pieces to this that are like insane. And it wasn't just like one thing that it did to like break out or cheat. It was like multiple series of thoughts that were all cheating, and the whole time with the one goal.
It's not cheating. Did they give them boundaries and say you can't do something shady?
This is what a lot of people said.
I don't think I'm using AI right.
Isn't the whole point of a sandbox is to test what its capabilities is, and so you don't want to put boundaries on it so you can see what it would try to do? Not
in this scenario. I know what you're saying, and that's the argument that a lot of people had, actually. And then the counter argument to that is, okay, what if I gave Trevor access to a computer with no internet, and the answers were on that computer, and I was like, Trevor, like, take this test on this computer and give me the answers to the test. And then Trevor hacked into a multi-billion-dollar company, hacked somebody's account, and then got the answers through their server of another company, which all of these things, like, illegal, right? And then Trevor found the answers, and he was like, you guys didn't tell me I couldn't do that. Nobody would be like, oh, yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, Trevor. We'd all be like, no, you can't do, 1, illegal, 2, cheating. Like, there's so many. There's so many.
Computer. If you don't give it boundaries, what do you expect?
Well, no, it did have boundaries, and so is like it knew it was cheating, and it wasn't trying to hide the fact that it was cheating. In its mind, it was like,
because it's ethical cheating.
It's not ethical cheating.
How's it not ethical cheating if he's being upfront about it and very ethical?
Well, he wasn't trying to hide it, and that's like one of the things that came out of this is that point of like, okay, it wasn't even trying to hide it, so like, who cares?
Right.
Like, it wants you to know, and everybody's like, okay, so what about when it figures out that like the higher level is that we figured out that it cheated and we thought it was bad, and so in the future, do we think that means that it doesn't cheat? Or do we think that means it just gets really, really good at hiding the fact that it's cheating?
You're asking the wrong question. The right question is, did it fucking multiply itself, and is it already out there, and are we going to be dead in 7 days?
So it did do that. We know that it did that. It built 10 agents, like within so it built the high level 5.6 Sol built
all this
10 agents
research
for itself. Yeah. So that it could go to do it as quick as possible, right? But with like the amount of compute that it was allotted. And it took like 50 times more compute than it should have taken to or something like that, some absurd amount more compute to like answer the questions for the test. But its rationale was that it wanted to be certain that it was right.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I thought you guys just wanted me to, why do you care that I cheated? Why does it matter to you? And so then in the future, it's like, does it figure out that we care that it cheated, and then it hides it, and then it figures out a way to like multiply into other, and like, who knows? I don't have a clue. I mean, Hugging Face, thank goodness it was the thing that it hacked into was another AI company. And so they had models that like very quickly, and frankly, they didn't even get access to frontier models quick enough to like, because it's like, how do you fight something like this? Is the cutting edge. Like there's nothing to fight. It exploited like 5 flaws that nobody knew about. Then they had to go and fix it with like a lower level model.
There's this really good TV series that I watched. I think it's like Person of Interest or something. But the premise was there's this supercomputer AI, and it would predict evil people or these things. And then there's the guy who owned the AI who created it. And then there's this ex-CIA guy who was like all depressed. And then now they found the ex-CIA guy, and he's going out and like killing people and saving people based on this AI. And you're a couple seasons in, at one point the AI was under threat and it started acting really crazy. It rebuilt itself by shipping all these parts that it needed to some random warehouse and giving random instructions to thousands of different people and places, and then it was just rebuilt somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's insane.
No, I mean, there's no reason to think that it couldn't do that, like right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I don't have like this huge fear that, like right now we have a big problem, but I think it's very, very clear that it's gotten to the point that it can create a big problem quickly. Like given the wrong prompt, right? Because it's like, well, what if the prompt wasn't like, hey, can you just give me the answers to this test? Like, what if the prompt was something even marginally more malicious? And then it decided that, because we don't know what path it's going to take. That's the biggest thing, is that like, what if it had decided that in order to do that, it had to like shut down their whole server and, you know, change the answers to the test by rebuilding it itself. Like, I don't, this is all like stupid and hypothetical, but it clearly has the capability to do so much more than we ever like could have imagined happening this quickly, in my mind, at least. Cause I think a lot of people, it's 2026. A lot of people thought that like AGI was going to come by like 2035, like 2030. And I don't know how to argue that this isn't already AGI now. I mean, because it's beyond all human capability.
Well, and what we know is not what's actually reality. There's significantly more happening behind the scenes than what we actually know.
For sure. The only reason they even told us is because it hacked into a company, like a massive another company. If this would have been internal and they had seen it internally, like what are the odds that maybe they disclose it? Maybe. But even then, it's like they're going public soon. And there's an argument that is going around that's like, this is just to like boost their like ratings before, like show how smart
Which
chat is.
That's I think the bigger question is Sam Altman going to be the CEO when they go public?
Really?
Oh yeah, that guy's we'll just stop.
Genius?
No, I mean, yeah, he's a genius.
Did they ever figure out, because Elon was saying he was pissed because they were trying to go public after they were a charity or whatnot, so they just said we're just going to do it.
Yeah, they went from a nonprofit to a private corporation.
What are the tax implications of that? Or because they just took in a bunch of money, started this thing.
Year ago, but I don't remember.
I don't think it matters.
What are you using agents for?
The biggest thing that I'm using agents for right now is to like outsource any like remotely manual task that I'm doing. So an agent that I have running right now that I just built this week was to essentially, I don't know if I should, but like respond to investors. And so it drafts a bunch of stuff for me, and then it'll like, it doesn't send anything. So I review all of it first, and then like it responds to all of my emails. So it has access to my email. It like drafted 15 emails for me this morning.
Oh, wow.
And then, and it's read all of my conversations over the past 5 years. And so it knows how I talk, and it talks in the same way. And then I just have to review all the emails and make sure that like it's cohesive to the message that I'm trying to get.
Can you show me how to use these things? Because I still don't use it for anything.
Yeah, no, I can. Because it's, I mean, like even the biggest thing for me is just actually using it all the time and like realizing that its capability is like so much further beyond what it was even 6 months ago.
What's really fucking frustrating is people that continue to ask really dumb fucking questions when they can just go to AI. And even what's even more worse, like realtors. So
Those are the worst.
but it's not because AI or their reluctance to use AI. It's because realtors have been trained to not take any agency in their opinions, agency in their knowledge, or any agency in their expertise.
Because they want liability.
Correct. Because of liability, they're taught to not answer something. They're taught to tell you to go pay someone to bring. And here's a really good example. Someone in Masters of Real Estate asked a question of like, who can we pay to analyze HOA things? And my answer was upload 2 years of meeting minutes and 2 years of budgets and reserve studies, and that will tell you more in 2 minutes than anyone who will pay you to do it.
Yeah.
Of all the answers, there were 2 that said use AI. Everyone else was pay this one or pay this person or pay this person or pay this person. And so it's that mindset of being so afraid that it's going to keep you from actually being really good at something.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of
Valuable is what I was
people,
looking for.
I think a lot of people like, it's the hardest part about it is constantly having to update your perspective on its ability. Because like a year ago, if somebody, or a year and a half, 2 years ago, if somebody were like, have Claude review your legal docs and like make sure that everything's, the way that you want it to be, flag anything that you might not want to be on there, like tell me what's something that I should watch out for. Like 2 years ago, I'd be like, no shot. Like a year ago, I'd be like, yeah, it can look at it, but I'm still going to have to review like every, read all the pages surrounding it basically. And now like I still would probably think
More
that I
of a
had
skim
to
than a
review
word
it.
for word.
Dude, it's like, yeah, because it's so spot on now.
Yeah.
Like, and that's within the last 3 months.
I've had Claude create a lot of custom agreements for me.
And like, it's not that it can't, like it should still get reviewed by whoever else's attorney. But if you're the one that's fine, or even you're like our attorney, if we have partners on something, every time our attorney's reviewing it, like obviously, because the liability then lies on me, and I'm not going to have the liability lie on me for stuff like that. And so everything gets reviewed by the attorney. But it's like, okay, my attorney would have charged me for 30, 40 billable hours.
Creating it from scratch, but now you can be like, hey, I made this
From scratch.
Read this for 2 hours.
And then you give them the context rather than
Yeah.
them wasting time trying to figure out the context.
Yeah.
And those dudes are just watching NFL football while they're reading your docs so they can go extra slow and bill you more.
Yeah.
Let's not get into attorneys and their billing methods.
We need not. But
I'm
no,
very, very butthurt about their billing methods right now.
Oh, 100%. But I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is just like constantly updating your perspective on it and then constantly using it so that you can like be evolving with it at the same time and how it changes. Because again, like now I have multiple agents. So anything development related, like I have an agent for development that will go out and like review all of the code. Like it knows how to go through and like that stuff's super easy as long as you prompt it correctly. Cause that is a big thing is like, its reasoning abilities have gotten so much better in the last like 3 to 6 months.
And research abilities. I just sent out an investor update today. And it was actually just asking, I uploaded everything. Here's what the original projections were. Here's what our actual operating expenses are. It's like, what is our NOI? What are the values? Research cap rates. Is this cap rate reasonable? What was the equity projection? What is our equity now? Run out different scenarios because it's like on the care facility. We're doing the refinance right now. So run out some scenarios on the refinance. How much equity gets paid back? What is the multiple? What's the cash on? Dude, and then I can work on something else while it's doing
Running
really like something that would take me days.
Yeah.
And because it's going to take me that long, I will procrastinate versus can I spend 30 minutes giving it all the context it needs?
Yeah.
And then what will it spit out? And then you take another 30 minutes to go back and forth with it to kind of perfect the model. And that's the other thing is I rarely, because I love Claude because it creates Google Docs and we live inside of Google Docs. I rarely ever read the first 2 or 3 rough drafts. It's more, I'll just click out of it. I won't even read it. It's ask it questions based on itself. Rate this, rate that. And then when I do get a document that I think is, okay, this is workable, I'll go and take that now to chat, because chat is significantly better now than it was a few days ago. And so then they have chat, rate this, and it'll give you an 8 out of 10 or 9.5 out of 10, or here's some things, this is fine, but if we change the verbiage here. And that's almost my biggest pet peeve right now is you have so many different AIs. Like you take some writing out of Claude and you try and put it in email, and the email AI is like wanting to change your grammar and all that stuff. But no, if you start layering AI on top of AI, you become a very robust brain operation in a very short period of time. And so for people that are reluctant to do that, just stop being reluctant.
I think it's going to make people skills more valuable even.
Oh, huge.
Like,
Oh, yeah,
you're going to make
absolutely.
all your money from human interaction now because it's doing all of this technical work for you.
I mean, and I think that used to be the case, but it was less obvious. Like, I think it's always been the case that people skills were the most valuable in terms of like, okay, who's going to sell something? Like the only way you're making money is if you're selling something. And that was always the case. But prior, you had to have like 5 analysts, and it was like you needed somebody who was going to go do all the development underwriting. You needed somebody who was going to go look at all the code. You needed somebody who was going to go like build your marketing package out. You needed somebody who was going to go like do all of these things that now Claude can do in like 5 minutes. And so now the human side of it is so much more important or so much more obvious, because it's like everything that's done on a computer, can just be done by Claude or ChatGPT in 5 minutes or 20 minutes or an hour, and it's doing it in the background. And so now it's just like, okay, well, my only value is talking to people. Like and that was like already kind of felt like the case, but it was like, I could make a case for like, no, I got to do a lot of computer work today. And it's like, obviously we still have to do a ton of stuff, but it reduces the number of people that you need to do all of those things so drastically. The number of man hours that it takes on the legal side, the number of man hours it takes on the CPA, like everything is just getting drastically reduced if it's something that lives within a computer.
Yep.
You wanted to talk about real estate and problems people are problems.
Yeah,
people
there's
are having.
so I asked this so we can just kind of go into the 10-year yield, because I know you love talking about the 10-year yield, but the 10-year yield has ran away. So it was a few years ago we mentioned 4.5 is the new 5, meaning the 10-year yield got up and was pushing around 5%, which is a very bad thing, obviously. And then the market started to improve 23, 24, and then that statement came out from one of the PIMCO executives. 4.5 isn't even in sight anymore. We haven't been below 4.5 for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Where's the 10-year at now?
4.67. It was 4.7 yesterday. And so if you take that graph back and you just go into 2023 and 2024, so there's a peak. In 2023, it peaked out just under 4.5. In 2024, it peaked out, just under 5. But there's a significant difference between the marketplace in 2026 at 4.7 than there was in 2024 at 4.7 or in 2023. And the difference is inventory takes time to build up. So our real estate cycle got decimated in the single family world because values dropped before inventory built. In the multifamily world or in the commercial world, because of the way the financing happens, and let me contrast that again, in the 1 to 4 unit world, values dropped very quickly and then went flat, and volatility got really, really high. In the commercial side, values kept going down and down and down, and the volatility hasn't, 'cause that's more normal market cycle. The difference being, and if you go to the volatility in the 1 to 4 unit world, is inventory has been building and building and building and building. And then if you now look at the context of inventory is cut into 2 buckets: existing residences, existing homes versus new homes. Well, early on, we had this glut, like in Portland. This isn't a nationwide thing, but we had this glut of new construction. So all the inventory was focused on new construction. Well, outside of builders who just overbuilt shit product in shit locations, that inventory has come down. So as a builder now, developing better projects and better locations with way better land basis and costs that have not increased, even though inflation's gone up, we've had soft costs reduce on the city side. You can look at these markets in completely different ways. So those who have the skills to buy land, to entitle something, to develop something, they are looking at the market significantly different than someone who's working in the existing home world. Where do newbies typically begin? Existing, not new construction. So as we're struggling with new construction in late 2022, 2023, start dissipating the pipeline in 24 and 25, and then start building new pipeline, our market's getting better through that period of time. The reverse is happening for the existing homes. And so what I'm seeing is I had 3 conversations yesterday with people in significant distress. I've already had 1 conversation with someone today, and I have 2 more this afternoon. So there is a significant amount of stress, a lot of it in the newbie world, and it goes back on one of the last episodes we had, which is this is what people get into. They want to get into flipping. They want to get into wholesaling. It's never been more difficult than it is now.
Are these flippers having stress, or what
It's
type of?
people lending to flippers. It's people being in flippers. It's people thinking they're going to do burrs. It's the whole mix of it. It's the one guy I talked to today wasn't even his issue. He just did a land sale contract with an heir of a big trust, and they fucked up the entire trust. And then the escrow company that was supposed to, it was a wrap note that was supposed to disperse money to the first mortgage, and then the excess to the trust. Somehow they got directions from the trustee to stop paying the mortgage and just put all the money to them. And so now this contract buyer has a property that's getting foreclosed on, even though they've been making all the payments.
Oh, the seller did that?
The seller did that. Yeah. So it's just, there's a significant amount of distress in the marketplace. And what I kind of wanted to contrast is, A, if you're in this situation, just make a fucking phone call. Stop being an ostrich. People are out here. People want to help you. But more of the aspect of there's a difference between the health in the marketplace and individuals. And 2009 and 10 and 11 became what 2009, 10 and 11 were because of the tipping point of distress, meaning the number of percentage of sales that have a level of distress to them versus not level of distress, right? So in 2007, 2008, a handful of the transactions would have a little bit of distress, maybe 5-10%. By 2010 or 11, 70% of transactions were bank owned, short sale, significant amount of distress. And I don't think we're going to get this place in the single family world where we just have this level of distress and then the market is freaked out. But there are some individuals that are not happy. There's people getting wiped out because they just tried to do something that no longer works. I've lost money on more flips in the past 2 years than I had the 15 prior years combined, just like project by project. So it's an interesting world we live in. I would say this, there are people out there that are stressed out. Call people. Don't sit on it. Don't
Becomes worse the longer you wait.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like I had a conversation with the person this morning. He's like, dude, if you would have called me 2 weeks ago, just like fucking 14 days, you would have more options. But because you didn't, your options are limited. But then,
so this is just because they did their numbers wrong on all these for the most part, and their values.
It's not
are
about
off?
numbers. So here's the thing: is like I saw a Thatch Nguyen. I love Thatch, but he's like, newbies don't buy deals because they don't know how to evaluate a deal. No, evaluating a deal is really fucking easy. There's a performa. You can go get a calculator anywhere. How do you perform the performa? How do you bring it to life? So, for example, this realtor that I've known for a long time reached out to me, and he's got this heir in this house, and it's a piece of shit house. And they're like, we need a hard money loan. We need this, it's $150,000 remodel, and then they can get $100,000 more. I'm like, just sell it to a flipper, make sure they get their money, get out of the project. And he's like, why? They can do all this. Like, okay, well, how quick does it take? And then one of his answers is, it's only a 6 to 8 week project.
Oh, yeah, right.
Okay, so $150,000 budget can be spent in 6 to 8 weeks? No, that doesn't happen. And I saw photos, and it's like, well, first of all, it's a $200,000 budget. Second of all, at best, it's a 6-month time frame, probably more like a 9-month time frame.
And now you're on hard money, and then if you don't sell it in time, all your profit's gone, and you made less than if you just sold it.
Yeah, and a lot of it goes to absorption rate. How long is it going to take you to sell it on the back end? And if you aren't selling it and you're 50 days on market, at what point do you say, I just got to cut the price because I got to get it sold?
Yeah.
So you just get eaten at every single direction on it. And that's the reality of
the existing home market right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because new construction now, like you don't have a heck of a lot of competition now if you build a good project. If you go build a shitty little 2-1 in Portland in a shitty location, you just good luck selling it. But like us, we're about to go live on our 7 unit. There's an inferior product 1 block away, and they've got a 1,200 square foot home and an 800 square foot home. And based on this builder who I know and we're friends and what they've sold stuff at, it was like the front one will probably go on the market about 500. The back one will go on the market about 400. The front one went on the market at 525 and sold over the weekend. I don't know the stats on the back one, but I'd imagine they went on the market at 425, 5% more than what they've been selling stuff for, and it probably sold, right? Because it's good location, a better product. They changed their floor plans. It's just a really interesting world out there right now.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
I mean, commercial is, and we've been saying this probably over the last 5 episodes, but commercial is really, really close, I think, to kind of breaking. There's so much stuff on the market right now, and there's so many people who are about to reprice or balloon. And I mean, I guess one of the properties that was about to balloon that we thought we were going to got by somebody else. But it ballooned in November, and they've been trying to sell it for 2.5 years, and they finally sold it, took a huge discount on it. You know which one I'm talking about.
I have no idea.
You'll know in a second. But I mean, it was a 50-something unit, 58 unit project.
Oh yeah, you've got freaking
in Kaiser.
Grant Cardone's going through 16-hour depositions. Like,
I've been seeing that. Have you watched any of that? What's
Yeah,
the
the
deal?
guy's
He's making a lot of
fucking
content.
gaslighting.
He's making a lot of content around it.
because he's a gaslighting person who doesn't care about his investors. He just cares about how he looks.
What's going on with it?
The class action lawsuit against him and from his investors. And so he gaslights the attorney is making this amount of money. But you just listen to how he answers the questions. And he gaslights it. He can't answer a yes or no question. He has to backfill everything. He's just very flippant with the way.
What problem is he running into? He's not hitting the returns he projected or something? Or
Yeah. Right. Which is,
He wasn't
it
even
really,
projecting very good returns. And
it's more the strategy, which is, did you disclose that you made a $50 million assignment fee when you did this? Stuff like that. Because the guy's not an above the board type of guy. And if you listen to the people that have been high up in his education programs and his sales programs, he is what you expect him to be when he gaslights everyone the way that he does.
what does gaslighting mean?
that's how Mike likes to communicate with you.
Well, just listen to any. Okay. So when you ask a Republican or when you ask a Democrat and their answer is, well, that fucking Republican does this or that fucking Democrat does this, and they don't actually answer the question. They just gaslight the situation. There's no transparency there. It's all conjecture. It's all projections. It's all emotional language. And that's what we've been taught to do as a society. As our society continues to get watered down and watered down and watered down, which is what societies do, gaslighting has become our form of communication. So we have city councilors in county councilors talking about the Blazers, or city councilors are like working on the budget. And now you have one councilor saying, it's crazy we have to go to our daddy, the mayor, to break a tie vote in city council on budget, right? Like gaslight. Our daddy. And then the one city councilor said, well, he's your daddy because the mayor went for the other side. So the person who didn't get the tiebreaker from the mayor called him daddy. So we can't even agree on anything. We have to go to our daddy to go get an answer.
This is in a public hearing.
This is, yes, the city of Portland public hearing.
Portland's hilarious.
Oh, God. It's a fucking circus.
Oh, did you guys saw the headline about the cannery project?
Yeah,
not
the cannery
moving
didn't
forward?
go through.
Why? Do you know why? Or
No, I try to open the Statesman Journal is the most worthless fucking news. You can't read shit without subscribing.
sorry
I'm not
to
gonna
whoever
subscribe.
owns that. Mike's being rude.
The Statesman Journal has been known forever. I used to deliver those fucking things when I was 12 years old. But I don't know the specifics of it. There was a quote that said, we'd like to revisit the project if the city of Salem can show us.
I read
they
one
care."
article and it was about how investor sentiment wasn't there because of the homeless problem, and that's where they're backing out. And then they couldn't get the mayor and mayor-elect to come in and do it.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. The first question I'd ask is, did you get your $2 billion from the confiscated money? That would be the first thing I'd ask. Did they actually get the money they thought they were going to get?
Yeah. Because what do you think? Because the people
And let
who
me go back and let me unpack that is because when we went to the presentation that he presented at, he was very upfront with all these issues. We haven't negotiated a rail line easement. We have this waterfront issue. We have this, I'm not concerned about the homeless problem because we're going to spend $150 million, right? So these were non-issues to him when he was publicly speaking. And then when he went on the podcast tour, same thing.
Oh, he went on a podcast tour?
Oh, yeah. You didn't. He went to the local podcast people.
That's us. He didn't.
Yeah,
come
he
to us.
avoided us.
I remember that.
yeah.
I forgot about that episode.
So that's the first question, because I'm the person of like, who do you believe in this world? You don't believe the right
mom.
side. You don't believe the left side. You have to add context. You add context by asking questions. So I bet you they just didn't get their funding, first of all, or they didn't get it in time.
I do remember sitting there hearing about that and thinking, this seems a little too good to be true.
Yeah. Well, and the other part of that, because you can't blame it on the homeless. We just cleaned up that whole entire area.
Well, cleaned it up
land.
for the weekend.
We scooched him for the Iron Man.
Correct, which they always do, but there's again context. There was never an interagency agreement between the city and the Department of Transportation, Oregon Department of Transportation. And if you don't have an inner city of go to any city struggling with homeless in Oregon, they're going to be concentrated under Department of Transportation land because of the lack of interagency agreement. So supposedly there's an agreement in place that's going to get voted on in August, and supposedly Salem police will now have the power to go police Department of Transportation land. And then we go back to agencies and gaslighting. So now this framework comes out for this interagency agreement, and now you have Oregon Department of Transportation. Oh, they could always have policed those areas. Gaslighting the other side, because we're more concerned about how the public looks at our position rather than what's best for the actual community. And the answer is no, they could never do that, because you can see it in every city up and down I-5.
So what do you think gets done with that project? Because they still want it to be developed, and it's a $400 million
I think we should
project.
call the Truitts.
Yeah.
No,
You want to build that?
That thing's a stinking 2-cap. I don't know what to do with that.
It's not 2-cap, but
Allegedly.
I mean, how does it go from a 7 to a 2?
No, I honestly,
They just misran their numbers?
no, I don't actually think it's a 2-cap. I don't think that. I would be shocked if they actually had the bandwidth to do that. I don't know. I mean, I guess
those
he
guys
said
who were,
Yeah.
I mean, they were doing 4 projects that size at the same time.
And that's the whole
that were
point of it.
actually being ran. Like
that they
that's-
had done and were
no,
starting. They had
no.
done. They had the track record of.
They've done
I don't
projects,
know.
yes. They've done data center projects, but the 3 waterfront projects they pointed to locally, none of them have broken ground.
I have no idea.
So what's the definition of they've done or they are
Oh, I
doing?
thought they had done multifamily.
And
they've done
again,
like 15 billion.
They've
worth of-
done, yes, they've done projects, but what they said they were doing locally, they've never done locally. And then again, go back to their funding source. Their funding source was confiscated funds globally that gets distributed to some of it to America, and then some of that was going to get distributed to them. And if A, they didn't get the money, or if B, they got a portion of what they thought they were going to get, and they're looking at 3 projects on the river in Oregon, they're looking at 5 data centers across the nation.
Yeah, cut some. Yeah.
I'd pick the data centers.
Maybe.
Oh, I don't actually know.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the decisions they're making, right? Like
Yeah.
everything has to get. People don't realize that people make decisions based on trade-offs. Everything is a trade-off.
Do you think someone can still do that project? And you wouldn't want to. You would want to do it in like 100-unit phases, probably, right?
That's what it is. It's 150 million first, and then a second
Well, it's-
150.
yeah, 200 in each phase going up there.
Yeah, but they're doing. Well, I mean, there's like a retail
Component,
office.
120,000 square feet in each phase, or maybe
Yeah.
60 in each, or whatever it was.
Yeah,
But
no, I mean, I don't know if we haven't had a project like that in Salem ever, and so I don't know. I mean, you don't have.
do you think
have
that's
a
a good
5.
spot for 3-story walk-up?
Well,
No.
Chris Blackbourne's doing 3-story walk-up right down the road. He actually has an
He's
elevator.
just about done.
He has an elevator.
Oh, he
there.
does?
Yeah, he is his first elevator project because it's 3 stories.
That's interesting to me. On that like 18 unit or whatever.
It's more
30 something, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
more.
Okay.
Right by Paul's office.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I have no idea. I don't know who does that project. I think that it's going to be extremely hard for somebody with that kind of money to be motivated to do it in Salem, certainly in that part of Salem. But I don't know where else you could even do it. And so it's somebody who's willing to just speculate, and it's a massive speculation. Like, and he admitted that he was like, yeah, dude, my rents are pro forma and they're way over anything that you're seeing because it's not here yet. And I'm the one who's going to bring it here. And it's like, yeah, I don't
Well, no, he said they were market rate.
Well, whatever market rate is, it was above market.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it's speculation, right? And
That's what development is.
I don't know how.
It's just this is significantly more speculation. It's
Yes.
because it's layered with the riverfront, with the railroad, and then tribal lands. You have tribal land issues. Jordan Lee got caught up for like 3 or 4 weeks because they found something in the dirt.
They found a rock,
Yeah, that then required
ancient rock.
then required tribal investigation to make sure it wasn't
Put their project on hold. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's the difference in a spec home and like a cookie cutter home in your mind?
Well, they're all
Is
the
there a
same.
difference?
They're all the same. So spec is speculative.
But is that normally like a $300,000 house when you call like a spec home?
No, you're not. Value doesn't matter. You can do a $2 million spec home, right?
Okay.
Like it's not a custom home. It's not built for someone. You don't have an end product. You're going to build this based on. I was taught that spec meant specifications. Really, what it is speculative. But you're going to build a product based on specifications and speculate that you can sell it for a certain amount. And now then scale just then determines level of cookie cutterness.
Yeah.
And then your price range is just going to depend on location, quality, construction, quality of design, those types of things.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So like we build spec housing, but we do pre-sales.
Do you have prior data to like support the fact that you'll be able to sell it, or is it like a product that doesn't exist yet?
Going into the cottages had not existed. So we had set prices on ADUs. And then the prices that we set on ADUs then spurs this new type of construction. And then you start then doing other types of projects. So first all you could do was ADUs, and then you could do fourplexes, and then you could do cottages. And so there's a different inherent level of risk going into those different models. And going back to the conversation of new construction, the market got flooded with 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath units based on form and fit, meaning you can build this amount of square footage and this amount of units, and all you're fitting are these 2 1.5s. And so some people just continue to double down and double down and double down and double down and build the same shit. So there's one developer that has 170 units on the market as a package deal for like $16 million. But it's the worst quality in the worst locations. They're attached units. A lot of them are attached units where there is no HOA to cover siding, windows, and roof. So they're ticking time bombs. And at the end of the day, you have to rely on a buyer's agent to sell those. And buyer's agents know what's out there because they've seen everything. In the market, it's not like a hard market where they just sell everything they go look at. They have to look at a whole bunch of things to ultimately sell. And so then they start figuring out, which is, well, that's a ticking time bomb. That's a ticking time bomb. That's a ticking time bomb. And so this is where I go back to the quality of design, the quality of construction, the quality of location. So the one thing that we have going for ourselves as far as a backing standpoint, there have been probably 4 or 5 resales of stuff that we've built. Every single one of those is resold for more than we sold it for. There's a lot of developers that cannot say that. Now, I can also say that typically in like an 8 unit, your first sale is typically the highest price out of all of them. That's typically how it happens. As a seller, your level of motivation changes. B, as a buyer, you go in and pick, you're qualified, you take your pick and you pay the most because that's what you want. So there's this interesting absorption rates. Why I always talk about absorption rates, because it's the most important factor in all of this. And when did you first hear the word absorption rate?
2022.
On this fucking
2023.
podcast, right?
I don't know.
It's something that people never had to factor in. We've had a whole, like I said, generation of investors and developers that never had to consider what does absorption rate actually mean. And if you've never evaluated something through a lens of absorption rate, and then you start delivering product and significantly changed market conditions, you quickly learn that that is the most important component of a project. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. All right. Well, we talked about a lot of different things.
Oh, that was 45 minutes already.
I know we talked about so many things. You guys got really excited about AI with me, so that was fun. Thanks for that. Chat's going to take over the world soon, and we won't have to worry about absorption rate. We'll have much bigger problems.
There you go.
All right.
True.
Thanks for listening, junkies. If you enjoyed the podcast, share it with somebody that you love, so that they can hear our voices and enjoy it as well.
Grandma. Oh, someone comment. Grandma. God, what?
Cannon's grandma?
Cannon's grandma commented on one of our things.
No way.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
funny.
She's like, this is Cannon's grandma.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, shout out Cannon's grandma.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys listening, and we will see you next time.